Anunnaki tablets was recently translated, some of it, and Nixter goes into detail. Check this out.
On the tablet, a conversation they claimed that happened between the Anunnaki guys that they overheard. Now, I want to paraphrase the conversation here. They say it says something like, "And who's in there?" Somebody comes in and tells him, "We have lost the ship of 50. We have lost it to Targalu, the destroyer." That's what the Anunnaki hear. That's what the Sumerians hear the Anunnaki saying to each other. Now, so I looked at that. Now I know what Targalu is. They called Saturn Targalu.
And he brings this. This is pretty wild. And he talks about how Saturn has this orbiting body. Check this out.
Actual Anunnaki ship that is trapped in orbit around Saturn.
Now, if this holds true, we're talking about an orbiting body that's currently a AK spaceship of the Anunnaki that's been caught in orbit for who knows how long, right? And I mean, this was alive, right? And he goes into detail on explanations and revisions. And when he went into basically this ridge line that the planet had, it just triggers a memory mine of stating, hey, this looks like the ship that this Japanese witness when he was got confronted with this huge craft. Bro, huge information, man. If you guys have a chance, go on my other channels. I'm like on 11 different platforms. I'm going to try to put it on as many platforms I have. And if you can't catch me there on the podcast, I'm on all known podcasts, so you can hear the full segment, my intro here, and everything. And if you've been here this long, you are disclosure.
Hey, you want to know about the Anunnaki thing and the object around Saturn? That's what you want to talk about.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yep.
Okay. Okay. The basic goes like this, man. All right. I've been studying Sumerian stuff and Anunnaki stuff for a long time. And they have a lot of tablets that they've translated. There's thousands of cuneiform tablets they found. Now, one of these tablets are where the Sumerians put on the tablet a conversation they claimed that happened between the Anunnaki guys that they overheard. Now, I want to paraphrase the conversation here. It says something like, "And who's in there?" Somebody comes in and tells him, "We have lost the ship of 50. We have lost it to Targalu, the destroyer." That's what the Anunnaki hear. That's what the Sumerians hear the Anunnaki saying to each other. Now, so I looked at that. Now I know what Targalu is. They called Saturn Targalu. They called Saturn the destroyer because we think it's because they realized it had a very strong electromagnetic field. So what they're saying is the Anunnaki would come from the body they're on into our solar system, and they got to go past all the outer planets, of course, and then they come in when they go past Saturn. Apparently, what happened is, and they came in groups of 50. That's in the text too. The Anunnaki came in groups of 50. So what he's saying is, a group of 50 that was coming into the inner solar system got lost to Targalu. They got trapped in orbit around Targalu, around Saturn. So if you read, it says basically the Anunnaki are telling each other, "Oh man, a ship that was coming in is trapped around Saturn." So I'm like, what the frick is that talking about? So the thing is this: Saturn has a lot of moons. It has a very, very strong electromagnetic field. So what this implies is that somewhere around Saturn there must be an actual Anunnaki ship that is trapped in orbit around Saturn. So I look at that, I go, all right, that's interesting. So I go and I start checking out all the moons around Saturn, all the objects that are around Saturn. Now, what happened is in the 70s, we sent a probe to Saturn. It was called Cassini. Cassini was supposed to go there and look at the rings and go around a little bit, look at some of the moons. Now, when they're going by, they had the opportunity to shoot some pictures of some of the outer moons. So one of the picture sets they took was of this moon called Epitus, Iapetus, or Iapetus, some people call it. It's Epitus. This is a moon of Saturn. Now, this is one of the farther out moons, but when Cassini was going by, it was pretty close, so they could get it from the place it was in orbit. Now, the thing about Iapetus is that it's on a 15-degree slant. The orbit's on a declination of 15 degrees off of the ecliptic. What happens is with a planet, most of the moons should be on a plane that are going around roughly at the equator around the moon that the orbit should be. This one is a slanted orbit. It's not on the ecliptic. It's not on the typical path you would see for a moon. So usually when we see this in astronomy, the first deduction most people make is, well, it must be a captured or a trapped object. That it's not one of the original moons. Now, this isn't always the case. Sometimes moons and bodies will bump into each other and stuff, and they'll get knocked off the ecliptic into irregular orbits. But this one's on a very clean orbit, but it's slanted 15 degrees. So I looked at the shots of this moon. Now let's look at some actual. If you want to pull me up on the screen there, I'll show you some. Oh, I'm on there. I'm sorry. Okay, let me show you some of these pictures. My camera. Okay, this is the Iapetus. This is a picture of the actual moon. Now let's look at this thing closely here. A couple things about it. Try to blow it up really big. Hey. Oh, thanks. God bless you guys. I'll be down there in a minute. Okay, here, guys. Check this out. Okay, this is the Iapetus. Now, notice right there. Look at the equator of the Iapetus.
Oh, it's a seam.
See that seam?
Yeah.
Now, this is the only place we see this in the solar system. We don't see any other moons with this effect. Now, this seam, this seam is actually a ridge that is 60 miles high with 3 parallel sections. See that? It goes right around the equator. This thing looks constructed. It looks artificial. Now notice something else. So I'm gonna pull back a little. Notice right here. Look at that. Look at some of these craters. Some of it, look at that one, for example. They are very clean hexagonal shapes. There is no impact crater that should have symmetry. Okay, so these are almost like ports. Now notice right here, you can't really see well in this picture, but there's a group of craters they can see that come right through there, right along the top of that seam. So what it looks like we're looking at, in fact, here, instead of a moon, is an artificial object.
Or someone was playing target practice on it.
Well. The thing is this: when they shot the pictures of it, a couple of things came up. Not only the seam is one thing, but there's some other anomalies with it as well. Okay, look, there's a close-up of the seam. See that?
Is it big enough to have a tectonic activity on it?
No.
No, okay.
No, this is not a tectonic effect. Now you can see right there in a close-up. See, there's 3 parallel structures that go along. The entire seam is 60 miles high. It looks artificial. It looks constructed. Now, I got some other pictures. There's some other features of it I want to show you here. Wait a minute. Let me get to some other ones. The big crater. There's an underlying geometry. Now, something else they do. Now, when they took the when Cassini's taking these shots, they take what are called albedo shots. Now, albedo shots are you know how like when you see the moon, it has that crescent, clean, rounded looking crescent kind of shape. When they took the albedo shots of Iapetus, it was faceted. In other words, it didn't come around a smooth curve like a typical body would be from gravity, a spheroid shape. It's more like a faceted cut shape. It has flat sections in it. Something else. This is an interesting. We'll talk about the facets in a minute, but look at this picture here. This is on the bottom of the Iapetus. See right there? That's where we're looking at the bottom of the albedo shot. Look at this right here. There is a spire sticking
How's
off the
up?
bottom of it. That's a couple of miles high. See that right there sticking off it? Sticking off the surface, there's an object a couple of miles high. An antenna tower, a portal, an entry, something, but it's clearly artificial. It's nothing you would think you would see on a shape like this. Right there.
Especially years and years and years of activity, it doesn't make a
Yep.
lot of
And
sense.
whatever weather that would have been knocked down years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
I want to try to. I want to try to get. I want you to look at. Oh wait, hold up. Now here's something else interesting about it. Now, if let me go back to. There's one other shot. I want you to see the Mercator projection. Hold on. This is interesting. It's back here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, here. Check this out. Okay, now this is. They took all the shots from the probe. They made a Mercator project. Like it's basically a sphere flattened out into a map. Okay. Now when they made the Mercator projection, look at this. Look at this area here. Remember, this is a slightly oval, long, round object. But on the back of it, on the back side of this object, there are two concentric, darkened areas. Look at that. Almost like they're exhaust ports or something. They're on one side of this object.
So this to understand. So this would be being like they put it as a flat surface.
Yes, it's a spherical it's spherical photographs flattened out into a flat surface. In other words, if you joined these up, it would be wrapped around a ball.
Right.
So you would have a sort of like a peanut shaped thing. But on one side of the peanut, there are two concentric areas that are very darkened, almost like it had exhaust ports or something on it.
No, is it darkened or is it just dark? Like, I mean, if it's an equatorial like map of this place, like, is this just the dark side of the moon?
This is like if you imagine you're holding a peanut in your hand. On one side of the peanut, now it's sort of flattened in the middle. It goes around. On one side of the peanut, right next to each other, are two little darkened spots, like the way like a propulsion system would work.
Right.
I want to show you the albedo shots. The albedo shots are really cool. Wait, let me see if I can find those.
Getting some Star Wars vibes.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. It looks like the Death Star kind of thing. Oh, let me find these albedo. The albedo shots are pretty interesting, very convincing for artificiality.
How crazy would it be if those ridges led to like exhaust ports, and this is actually just a Death Star.
Yeah.
Speaking about a Death Star, because you just brought that up, Phantom, or Phantom?
Phantom, like a ghost.
All right, Phantom. That literally just hit my spot. I was just thinking about this. So, are you guys familiar with the Japanese flight incident with the UFO?
Oh, here we go.
I think he was flying over Brazil. Look at this craft, and it sort of looks like. Let me put effects up.
Okay, now see this picture here. This is this is off the JPL site. Okay, this is the official Cassini photograph. Okay, see right there? That's the albedo shot. In other words, if the light is hitting a sphere, okay, it should be a very smooth, crisp, clean, curved, lighted area. You see that right there?
Mm-hmm.
Notice how when you look like down here, okay, and you follow it around, like look right there. See that? It's flattened. It's faceted. This is not a spherical object. Look at this. Look at this overlay. This whole object has flattened sides. That should be a perfect curved round like a fingernail with no edges, smooth, if it's an actual sphere. But this object is not a sphere. It is not a sphere. See that?
It's like more like a tic tac shape.
Well,
it's more like a these shapes you see. These are geodesic shapes. So this thing is like a big. a big. It's like a jewel almost, like the way a jewel would look, like a diamond, a cut diamond.
So looking at it though, like could it be just refraction of light? Like the planet, the moon already looks kind of shiny, right?
Yeah.
Like it clearly
True.
reflects a lot of light. So I'm thinking maybe that's just like just this one thing in
Like a
particular. But
natural effect.
yeah, yeah.
It would not. It would not be a natural effect. Any object. Any object. There's another set. These are from the JPL site. They didn't. They kind of brushed it over. They can't explain it either. They're like, well, I don't know. It should be smooth. Like I'm going to show you. Let's see. Let me find an object with a clean albedo so you can compare what I'm talking about. Let me see. Not that one. There must be. Okay, here we go. Okay, now look at that. See that?
Hmm.
That's what you should expect to see on a spherical object for an albedo. See how it's smooth and rounded, perfect?
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
wild.
That's what you should expect to see. But that isn't what we see. We see this. See that?
Mm.
So that right there seems to be an indication of construction or artificiality.
Oh, hey, can you go
Back
zoom
to the
back in?
construction because Phantom mentions this, and I'm trying to see if I can expand this. You see how that Saturn sort of looked like when you went to the original Saturn image, and it has that little
Yes.
ridge,
Yeah.
and then this craft is like equivalent to a 747. How
Hmm.
huge this thing was? Could it
Yeah.
be possible that this thing is a ship in itself?
Yes. That's what I'm telling you. This
Yeah.
entire object is a ship with 50 dead Anunnaki on it. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I know. I know. You must think I'm nuts.
Well, where does the Anunnaki come from? Like, I'm like suspending disbelief. Like, it does kind of look like it could be a ship, right? But where does Anunnaki come in?
Well. That's the thing. The whole, the whole story with the Anunnaki is. Let's talk about that in a general sense for a second. But basically, the story goes like this: they're saying that it's part of a Sumerian religion and folklore and the records we have. They talk about the beings. Anunnaki means those who from heaven to earth came. Now, these are figures we see in Sumerian tablets and accounts of them. They say they were from the sky. They say that they taught them about uh, mining, religion, agriculture, astronomy, mathematics, because the Sumerians were a very high culture for the time. They had coins, they had beer, they had wheels, they had government, they had mathematics and physics, they had all kinds of things. But
Yeah.
everybody's like, where did this come from? I mean, they just spring up out of nowhere with all this super advanced stuff. You should see some of the buildings they were making. So they're all like, oh yeah, we got all this information from the Anunnaki. They showed us all this.
There's a lot to this Anunnaki thing. I'm understanding that there were the second or third creation from source, and then
Here's
the
one of these. I
Anunnaki
want to show you
actually
this.
had a slave race before us. They had a slave race that revolted. I can't remember their names.
Yeah, it was the Gigi. The
Yes,
Gigi.
the
The story goes they came here. They took primates. They engineered them. They genetically engineered them to mine to make ores, to pull gold and metals and uranium and so forth out of the earth. Like they taught them how to do it. You get the stones, you bust them up, you smelt them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That they taught humans how to do this.
Now, what I'm
I want to show
understanding,
you.
what you're saying, and what the Anunnaki text is saying, is that their craft crash landed on that craft. Is that
No, what I'm
what
saying
I'm
is,
understanding?
well, no, what I'm saying is that according to what the Sumerians are saying, these Anunnakis were coming every 3,680 years. There would be a point where Nibiru and the little 6 or 7 bodies that it's with would be close in proximity to our solar system. They're not coming right off of Nibiru. They're coming off a body that's with it. But they would be close enough where they could get to Earth. They would travel from this body in their system, okay, in groups of 50 into our solar system. They would come into our solar system and then to Earth. Now, in the course of one of these excursions, one of their ships got trapped in orbit around Saturn. Yes.
Which
so
is
the
a
object,
AKA craft.
yeah. So the object we were looking at orbiting Saturn, I believe that's an actual ship of theirs that has 50. It has 50 petrified dudes on it. Yeah.
So let me break this down.
I know it's crazy.
Because
it's crazy, man.
The narration is wild. I love this. So, but here's the thing: how they explain in the text. What you told me is that it almost seems like it's the Saturn, which is aka a craft, is not one of their craft. That their craft crash landed on the planet, or aka the craft Saturn. You see what I'm saying?
This object, this moon of Saturn, okay, they were coming in a craft past Saturn. They got caught in an orbit. In the gravitational field, they got caught in an orbit. Now it's trapped. It's just trapped as a moon. It's just circling around. It was never supposed to get caught. It was supposed to come past that on its way to the inner solar system where Earth is. There's 50 guys that were coming with it. That's the actual.
Okay, I got confused. Okay, so the moon is their craft.
The moon
one
itself
of the moons
is
of
the
Saturn.
craft.
Got you.
Yes.
I lost you. Okay.
The object itself is a craft with 50 dudes.
Man, this guy's gotta be huge, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I want to show you
Because
this.
this one I showed you, this craft that showed up with the Japanese pilot, this thing is huge. It is massive.
Well, this is
That is massive.
This is now what they were doing or what they wanted to do was something that large, coming into the inner solar system. We can only speculate on. It's like a transport craft. They're going to fill this hollowed out moon-sized object with something, and it goes back out. Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. I wanted to show you this one picture. Wait a minute.
So do you think maybe they hollowed it out to create the craft? Like,
yes.
It's still
Oh my God, that's brilliant! Using the existing moon or existing whatever, and just hollowing it out, and then putting on your devices, on your technology to use it as a craft. That's actually pretty brilliant, because they're talking about that now. NASA's talking about using moon matter to build in infrastructure for their bases. It makes a lot of sense.
It solves the material problem that you would have, because you would need materials. It would get around that.
Yeah,
that's actually really smart.
It's all right there. So we'll see that. You know, that's the thing, man. When we think of spacecraft, we always think of this big, streamlined-looking Klingon destroyer cruiser thing and all that.
Really?
But your really advanced technology, maybe a spacecraft for you just looks like a planetoid. It's wrapped in rock. Okay, it just looks like an object. That's how you build
Which
your
a lot
craft.
of people argue that Three-Eye Atlas was that scenario.
I wanted to show you this one picture here. This is
that's a whole different other argument.
This is from my. This is actually what my picture is on my profile. But look, see this right here. This is this is from these are Sumerians. This is a Sumerian cylinder seal. Okay, they made these. Now, if you notice here, see the guys. Look at that. Look at what's in the middle right there. See that? We got a sun, and look at all the planets. Okay, now the only problem is this object you're looking at. It's 5,000 years old. This is in the British Museum.
5,000.
I mean, could those be stars?
5,000 years ago. Look at that.
Because, I mean...
Wow.
Well, I mean, they...
How would they know that? Who told them that?
Well, what I'm getting at is, what if those are stars? Because like that middle
They
one could
ran
be
they
like,
ran models. They ran a bunch of models on looking for constellations that will correlate. They can't find. It's clearly a solar system. They also went through and counted it. It matches up the known planets in our solar system, except this one. That's the moon.
hmm.
That's the
So
moon.
that's Earth moon. Yeah, 5,000 years ago. Now, who in the world told these? We didn't discover some of these planets until the 30s. How could they possibly know?
Yeah, like the one on that side is the smallest one. Like that's wild. The
Yeah.
quantity, how many they had up there. What's funny is
Right.
like not to get off subject too bad, but I have I think it's the Zuzu has a map, and the map describes of a hollow world. What's ironic about that map is it looks very similar to the flat Earth maps
I don't
and
know what the
how
flat.
their
Well,
comparison. I'm not
well, I thought about it.
no
I thought about it. If I'm an advanced interstellar species, okay. I mean, I don't think you even necessarily have to have like fast as light travel or something to that effect. If you understand what's going on in a general sense, that is really the most logical, best design for an interstellar craft, or even like an interplanetary craft. Okay, suppose you're just trying to go, as far as say from here to Jupiter or something like that, like a relatively shorter distance. That's the kind of craft you would want. You would want your thing. It's got to be really big. First of all, you need life systems and stuff
right.
in it, but the outer surface of it that is the most logical, best thing to be using. Okay,
That's
you're going to be protected from radiation. You're going to be
Hmm.
protected
you're
from
right.
microparticles hitting it. You're going to be protected from asteroids and stuff bumping into it. It's not going to look like some sleek looking Klingon metallic cruiser thing. That's not what a ship's going to look like.
No.
All of
Unless you're
these,
local.
all of the designs you see, like for when you look at like Star Trek and all that, these are all designs based on atmospheric conditions and what we understand as propulsion. Okay, you
Right.
want something that's streamlined. You want something
Actually,
with aerodynamic advantage.
I guess
Aerodynamics are irrelevant in deep
here
space. It's irrelevant.
here's another thing for you to contemplate too, right? So we already know the concept of the air drive,
Yeah,
but you would need to have a massive like heavy mass objects to create the back portion of the bubble. I
yeah.
mean, if you put a like something with like negative mass at the front of this thing, it's gonna move. It's gonna
Yeah,
move
Well,
it's gonna move.
speaking about that, Phantom.
Well,
Speaking about
really,
that, they this
the
guy
thing.
called LED, Mr. Lid. His last name is White. He redesigned that one you're talking about, and he's
Mhm.
calling it the donut warp theory. And it actually uses incredibly a lot less energy. It's basically making basically like a bridge in front of the craft and
Yeah,
a dropping off, which is that's why they're calling it the donut theory, because it looks like a form of a donut that is
yeah.
entangled, like like a what is it called?
The
The
toroid.
infinity sign, and it uses
Mhm.
less energy to do that warp drive phenomenon. But yeah, that and then
Well, see,
the touch on
the
Dick's
thing is,
Nixter.
if you have a craft of some kind, let's suppose it's that big peanut we're looking at. Okay, now once you get that thing moving from wherever they're coming from, say they're coming from one of the bodies around the Nibiru, they're going to head into the inner solar system. Once you get it moving, conservation of momentum takes over. There's no air resistance. The thing's just gonna keep going. It'll go indefinitely. It'll go to another star system. Conservation of
That's
momentum.
funny you said about this planetary thing. There was an interview on Coast to Coast that he talked about Mars and putting bases on Mars, and he explains you only need 3 inches of water to block up a majority of radiation and all this other stuff.
Yep, yep.
fellas.
That's
I'll
how I
just
would do it.
jump
If I was
in.
an alien and I'm building an interstellar craft, I would wrap it in rock, just like that. It's gonna protect against radiation. It's gonna protect against anything impacting it, and you don't have to worry about the aerodynamics of it. It doesn't got to be pointy or streamlined.
What are
Aerodynamics
you
are
saying,
relevant.
Zelly?
How we doing? How you doing, mate? Next
I'm
time
doing good.
that
How are
thing
you
you
doing,
got,
brother?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. I'll just tell you quickly and then I'll jump onto what Nickster's talking about. I saw massive two spheres on Friday at 3 o'clock in the morning. Absolutely bigger than a football pitch. I've got it on my profile, so it was an amazing thing that I saw. I'm still quite excited about it. And Nickster, you're right in a lot of things what you're saying. I've actually seen your profile. I've been to the museum, so I've seen that live. I also went to the pyramids just before Christmas, but it makes sense what you're saying. There's a moon. I don't know if it's one of Jupiter's or Saturn's moon. I think it's called Titan. And if you look at the moon, it doesn't look like a normal moon. There's like a massive kind of wall, or it's very grey. There's like a kind of wall around it, like it looks
Dude,
like
you got here late. That's Iapetus. We just went through the whole thing with that. We looked at pictures and
yeah.
everything. Yes.
Okay.
Can you bring that up again, Nixter?
Okay. All right, hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
my
Paige. This is
my
brilliant, man. This right here is it's the I want to say the G spot. It's the spot where a lot of people are missing the ball on. And the reason why is because if you're doing intergalactic traveling, this is the crux of it, I think.
yeah.
Because the notion of the amount of material you need to the amount of transportation and energy and the creation of energy. Because if you're moving a planetary body and it can reproduce its own fuel, its gravitational field, to its own protection barrier with the walls and stuff like that. You have basically all the parameters you would need for life support, and protection of radiation to the creation of fuel that you need. I mean,
There it is.
Yeah.
That's the
it,
ridge.
yeah, it just doesn't look like a normal
It's an
anything
artificial
more
object.
like
I firmly believe it's an
yeah,
artificial object. And as I was
yeah,
telling these
I
guys
agree.
earlier, I looked at some of the Sumerian cuneiform, the cuneiform test that talks about an object getting
Yeah,
trapped around Saturn.
yeah. And it's
But
also it's got some is it that planet that's got like it looks like there's buildings on it as well. And I know like on Mars it looks like
oh,
an old
show that one,
tube.
Nixter.
Yeah,
what?
on Mars it
The
looks like there's
tower
a
one.
tube station on Mars.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this object here. Wait a minute. That's a whole other rabbit hole of what's going on Mars. But this object here specifically, let me find it. Wait a minute. There it is.
What you
Okay,
just described, Zelly.
this object here has a 2 mile high spire on the bottom of it. This is the Iapetus.
Yeah,
Now look at
that's
that.
it. Yeah,
Look at that object right there.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
exactly what I
it.
was talking about. Yeah. See, I firmly believe, and I've had like people, what are we talking about? But I believe that as humans, we've been living on the moon and Mars and probably some other planets in the solar system because I forgot who it was and I've been trying to find it. When I was researching about stuff, they were advertising in places like Brazil and in Africa for people to go off world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were doing it in the third world countries. So they were advertising for people to go off world, and this is back in the 70s and 80s. This was so it's not a recent thing. So I firmly believe that we've already on different planets and living there anyway. Or
Now
but I think the
agree
people
with
when
you.
they went,
this is
yeah,
an interesting shot as well. Now this is surface features of the Iapetus. Now if you'll notice that it's kind of hard to see in my picture here, but it looks like it's layered. There's layered structure. In other words, there's like a skin. There's an outer skin, and then look at the interior. There's further layering of structure. It's not just a rocky wall. It looks artificial. It looks
yeah,
constructed. Like you can see something was layered over that. Like it was engineered, and then it was overlaid with this rocky material.
Do you have any idea what's made out of?
No
Oh,
idea.
that's a good question.
No idea. Well, I mean,
It looks
like a
metallic to
slate.
me, but
Well, you're metallic or like a slate type of material. You ever see
Well, I
those?
don't know if it's well. I mean, when we're looking at the albedo here and we see that it has these facets, it's some kind of geometric shape in the interior. We don't know, like probably a Buckminster fullerene, a shape called. Let me find a picture of that.
and
It's a
it's still
Bucky.
operational. It has to be still operational if
Okay,
the
here we go.
Anunnaki still
Here's
talked
some.
about it.
Okay, here's some photos of various platonic solids. These are shapes, 3D shapes. Okay, see those? Now you can see. Okay, now see right there, something like that. It's a little bit elongated, but it's something like that.
Hmm.
Hexagon.
It's a faceted platonic solid. Okay, so now look at that picture. See that? Okay, look at that real close. Remember that. Now look at this. Look at the albedo shot. See it?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna put this on Spotify. So if you just describe what you're seeing? Because I'm gonna spit this, bro. This is good stuff, man. This is good stuff.
Yeah,
What he's seeing right now, it's like
this is information that this is something that I mean the JPL photos from the Cassini probe have been around for a long time, but nobody ever tried to put two and two and say, wait a minute, why does it says in the Sumerian tablets that there's an object? If you read it, it says there must be an object trapped around Saturn. So I'm looking at Saturn's moon, so I'm like, boom, what's that? Because if it's true, if it is in fact true, we're looking at an aircraft, a spaceship there that should have 50 Anunnaki guys in there, petrified.
Shit, it's gotta
no.
have
So if
one.
anybody's wondering what he's still talking about, it's a 2004 October 24th picture that the satellite took.
How about the guy who wrote the book, The Rings of Saturn? And in the book, he's got pictures, and he claims that there's two massive ships
Now,
in the rings, and they've got pictures of it that
okay,
are basically
let's look at.
creating the
I got,
rings.
I got one other thing. I want to show you. Now this is Wait, let me find it. Hold on. I got one other picture I want to show
Oh
you. Check
man,
this.
Nixter, get it, bro. I'm like a little fat kid in a candy store.
Okay, look at this here. Look at this. Now, again, this is unexplained. Conventional science, NASA. Nobody has any explanation for this. Check this out.
I have to say
Now-
though, Anunnaki are dicks.
They are. I
Okay,
mean, what they have
okay, here
done
we go.
and what they did. You're right.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
Okay,
have-
now check this out, guys. Wait, let me get this picture up. Now, this right here is some wild. Okay. All right. Now, what we're looking at here is this is
Bro,
Saturn. This is
That's
Saturn.
it.
This is the North Pole of Saturn.
Boom.
Now, the North Pole of Saturn, for an unexplained reason, has a standing hexagonal shaped structure that's evident through the gas cloud. See that? See all the rings? See how it's all around? You see this thing is moving, so it's orbiting. So how in the world is there a standing hexagonal structure at the pole? There's no known physics that can explain that. The only explanation could be that somewhere in the interior of Saturn at the North Pole, there is some kind of technology. There's some kind of device that
And
makes
there's an
this
opening
happen.
there.
See that? So
A circular open.
what I'm thinking is it's possible that after now the Anunnaki lost that ship there, so maybe they installed a device later on that somehow helped them counter that the massive electromagnetic and gravitational effects of Saturn, that this is somehow associated with it.
Well,
Which is weird. I'm sorry, fam.
Oh, go ahead.
What is weird is that this mirrors the photos of our Earth. Why is that
This one
of the holes of our polar have that same
Look at that photo.
similar? Bro, that's wild.
Look at that photo.
What is
That's
that?
wild.
That's the North Pole of Saturn. Right now.
North Saturn.
That's a picture
Jesus.
of it.
That's what it looks like. Now,
That's
do you think, does that look natural? How can spinning gases make themselves
wild.
stay in an angled
That's
shape?
crazy.
How is that possible? Look at that.
So
That's
7
millions
sided
and
too.
millions and millions of miles across.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
What the fuck?
That's probably bigger than both the US and Europe together.
Oh, that's
how
right.
big that is.
Earth right there.
That's
But real
crazy.
quick though, if you were going to go to Saturn and you were to try to create a settlement on Saturn, the only safe place would be the North or South Pole, because the storms that happen along the rest of the
See,
along the rest of the planet.
look at the filtered image. Look how precise and uniform the sides are, the angles.
That takes
Now,
my breath away. That looks amazing.
Spinning gases cannot do that. There's nothing they can even postulate that would cause this effect.
Right.
In those gases, that wall, there's like no moving air or not enough.
No. Well, I mean, you look at any body, any spinning body that size with gaseous effects. The rings you see, that's what you'd expect all the way in. It's uniform rings because it's spinning. But look, the idea that somehow the gases or the fields are held in a configuration that's going to make straight even sides, it's impossible. It's impossible.
It's
It has to be
impossible.
some kind of technology that will cause that effect. What it is, I don't know.
Don't
I
care.
don't
Yeah,
know.
you should definitely look into the book. It's The Ringmakers of Saturn. It's by Norman Bergman.
Ringmaker.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I've looked at
Yeah,
Bergman's book.
Ringmakers of
I've
Saturn.
looked at that book.
Yeah.
What about ferromagnetic?
What did you think? What did you think of the
Well,
book?
yeah, I think that the rings of Saturn, we can detect in the rings. There are a lot of what they call shepherd moons, which are like when you look at the actual rings, you see these gaps. You see these gaps in the rings, and they can tell that there are planetoids or objects that are causing the gaps. In other words, like it's sweeping along. There's bigger objects sweeping through the rings that are causing those trails. It causes the separation between the rings. But there are areas where it looks like there are edges to some of the rings where something is actually generating the rings. I'm talking, it would have to be giant things as big as like fiber.
Yeah,
Bro,
but that's what he
like
claims.
brilliant. That's
Too
like
massive.
a dam. Like a dam, it generates energy from the water moving.
It's really weird. Nobody's
When
really
he-
sure of this.
Yeah. But he claims there's 2 massive spaceships that are causing the rings. He reckon they took they've got pictures and videos of it. He claimed that the beings were black, and I don't mean like black like me. He said like they're black, like as in the darkest black you can get. That's why he claimed that these are the beings that are flying these ships that are in the ringmakers of Saturn, according to him anyway. So,
You know, that's
quite
funny you're
interesting.
talking about that because the Anunnaki describes crashing on this planet. That's a orbiting craft. So they talk about like this craft is not theirs.
Yeah,
See what I'm saying?
yeah.
There's no
Wow.
crash.
Well, I've got
There's no crashing.
one of my friends
So-
recently, he's got hold of some German documents from the Second World War files, and in the documents they speak about Lemurians who were here first, before the Anunnaki, and then the Anunnaki came and they started Atlantis and stuff like that. And it's quite interesting because I'm currently reading the Emerald Tablets at the moment about Thoth, who, from what he's saying, built the pyramids, and then he got his crew to go around the world and build the other pyramids around the world as well. So if you've not read the Emerald Tablets, a very good read. Obviously, I haven't read the Sumerian Tablets like yourself, Nixter, but the Emerald Tablets is a very, very interesting read as well.
So, real quick,
So
Going back to the Rings of
who
Saturn. Go ahead.
No, you were saying go back to the Rings of Saturn?
Rings of Saturn. What if the rings were acting as a coil? Because planets have their own electromagnetic fields. And if there's a coil around it, it would produce electricity.
Like Magneto. what the craft uses, the airplanes, the magneto. Every time it cross-reference the magnetos, it generates energy.
Just the
That's
thoughts.
interesting. Wow, a big ass magneto generator. If anybody don't understand, so basically, every time you have positive and negatives inside a magneto, like a alternator, right? And every time it crosses its path, it would trigger energy, electricity, um, uh, uh, release, right? So every time that happens, so the cross reference to that would be the what you're saying is one of the orbiting rings would cross or go by each other causing
Mm.
energy every
Yes,
time. Which,
yes.
if that's the case, that would create a crazy amount of energy.
Huge.
Or,
And like
or
maybe it's being directed towards the North or South Pole because that's where electromagnetism would sprout from, basically. Kind of like our own planet.
what do you think about that, Nixter?
Yeah, I just don't know, man. I mean, I look at that object, the opposites, and I look at that structure on the North Pole, and like, I mean, I think we're looking way far out and looking for other places in the universe for these quote unquote aliens to come from. I think we got stuff right here unexplained, right here in our own solar system, man.
Right.
Nobody can give me a decent answer on that hexagon at the North Pole. Nobody. They're all like, I don't know. I
That
don't know.
nobody.
We should get Astro to look at it because that guy's something else when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, have you tried the AI by putting it into not that I'm a big firm believer of AI because I think it chats some lies anyway. But have you tried to put that picture into AI and see what it comes up with?
No, I have not.
You
No,
got
I
to be
have not.
careful with AI. AI is basically a yes man in most consumer hands. So it's gonna
Speaking
try to
about
agree with you.
AI, speaking about AI, I'm actually in the middle of making my own local AI system.
Oh, nice, dude. Nice.
Okay.
I love doing it. Are you using Open Llama?
I've been looking at
Llama?
Opalama. I'm looking at LL Studio, and I'm
Yes.
hearing on the forums right now who what is breaking through is I believe it's called Operation Open Source Claw. Claw
Oh,
is the
yeah.
next, but you need a bigger I mean, there's operation systems with Open Claw that you want
Yeah.
a bigger system to get the full benefit. A B4 or B40 system management, which would be like the top line with deep thinking and deep analog, which this is
Yeah.
going to probably need that, especially if it's going to cross reference a lot of data aspects of what they have right now to what we're talking about, because you're going
Hmm.
to have to cross reference a lot of information, a reference to what is historically there to what we know of what they're doing with basically our technology, with basic making a craft out of a planet would be like, you know, example, like there's so many texts right now. Like example, the 3D mapping out of basically what they're trying to do on the moon is basically land these craft would spit the grab metal or grab material off the moon and then spit it out as a AKA cement paste. That kind of technology to what we were just talking about with the magneto, which is on every like Cessna, right? I'm not saying anything crazy, right? I mean, this is technology that is really commonplace in our world right now. Um, the example with the Magneto, they basically made a AKA scooter in Japan. This was like in 2002, which was about the magnets were off about roughly about 30% off from the inside radius to the outside radius. So what the dude would do is get on the scooter, right? And he would push it. And then with that natural magnetic push and pull, it would start propelling the scooter just like up to 30 miles per hour. And it would create its own electricity because it was based off the magneto which is off. We're talking about 1970s technology. You know what I'm saying? This crap has been around forever. But I mean, if we and then when you mentioned about the rings doing the same freaking thing, it makes
Mhm.
sense why Saturn's those generating of bodies moving like that would create incredible amount of energy. It would be sustained, and no one can be able to not necessarily stop it, but it'd be self-sustaining,
Mhm.
which would be wild, dude.
Well, one of the things about Saturn, like when they sink Cassini there, they notice it has a massive electromagnetic field. I mean, the gravitational effects seem to be amplified somehow. So the idea that an object
Yeah.
would get trapped in there, okay, is very likely. It's very likely. Now that combined with the fact that, as we said when we first started the conversation, this object Iapetus, it's off of the ecliptic. That's a dead giveaway that it is a captured object. A captured object. I'm going to try to get a picture of that somewhere. Wait a minute.
Makes sense. Well, you just said this makes so much sense because if it has this magnetic field, no wonder when orbiting craft or flying will get caught in its magnetic field, and that's
Yes.
why that
Yeah.
makes oh man that makes perfect fucking sense.
It was captured. It's a captured. Let me see. I'm gonna find. There's got to be a shot of it here. Up it is.
So whoever created that left a long time ago, and then the Anunnaki was dealing with this crap. This magnetic field, and we're like, "Bro, don't fly by there because we just lost a spaceship."
Yeah.
In that
No.
magnetic field, and it's
I know.
self-sustaining.
I tell people this, and they say you're crazy. What are you talking about? But I'm telling.
So,
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here's the picture. Check this out. All right, let me show you this, guys. Here's a really good picture. This is. It's hard. It's easier to. You'll understand it better if you see this picture than me trying to describe it to you. Okay. Okay. Look at that right there. Okay. Now you see the blue stuff.
Mhm.
The blue stuff is Saturn and all of its moons in orbit around Saturn. See the little blue rings?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're all on that flat, sort of like the surface of a record, like on for a record player back in the day. That
Mhm.
flat plane, they're all circling like that. That's called the orbital ecliptic. They're all going to be on that same little thing because they came off of Saturn. They're associated. Now look, see the red thing?
Yep. That's a
That's
purpose.
that's Iapetus's orbit.
This. Yeah.
See that?
That's a hell of an orbit too. Holy
Yes,
shit.
that
it's a
is.
very it's way out there. It's not on the ecliptic. If it was a moon of Saturn, it would be really wide, but it should be closely associated with this ecliptic. So when they see an object with
That is
that
a
much,
foreign body.
so when they see it with an orbiting body that far off the ecliptic, the assumption is it's a captured object. It's not part of the natural system of Saturn. It's a captured object.
Mhm.
There you go.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
It could also be using the energy, you know?
It's hard to say, man. I mean, it's really hard to speculate on how some of these forces would work and the properties at play of something that big and that far away. But I mean, it looks
Yeah.
like a captured object. We can tell from the orbit and all the things I described and showed to you, combined with the fact that it's got that weirdo thing going on at the North Pole. It just there's a lot of evidence there for artificiality.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question then, because I've got a friend in Scandinavia, and he's recently sent me a picture of two suns. Because I believe Nibiru is on its way back. I believe it's probably close right now because of all what's going on. So, is that something that you believe is happening as well, as in Nibiru on its way back?
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. When we when we look at the solar, when we look at our galaxy, we see now, just in recent times, we discovered two things. One, probably most all of the stars we see in our galaxy have planets. They, in fact, have planets. They've already detected something like 6,000 exoplanets with like James Webb, between James Webb and Hubble. 6,000 exoplanets. So, yes, it's a real thing. So, out of the 350 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, you're talking trillions of planets. Now, something else they've noticed is this. The most common configuration, stellar configuration in the galaxy are binary star systems. 2 stars. Stars going around stars. Okay, so if we in fact are a binary star system, and what the Sumerians are saying, this other star, this binary star, that's Nibiru I'm talking about, it's on a 3,680-year orbit. They're going around each other, but it goes way far out, so you wouldn't even be able to detect it for thousands of years. The orbits are so big, you wouldn't even detect it for thousands of years. But there'll be a time of probably every say 3,800 years, 3,600 years, it'll be close enough in where for a couple of hundred years it's in the proximity of our solar system, the binary star. In other words, there'll be another star in the sky. Now, if this is in fact a binary star, and all of the stars have planets, it stands to reason that if it's a binary star, it's probably got other bodies it brings with it. That's where the Anunnaki would have come from. A planet around the other star, around the binary star that comes into our system. So Nibiru, when you hear me talk about Nibiru is not going to be something you're going to see in the sky. Like, look, there's a big giant planet going by next to the moon. You're going to have another star that's evident, and they can come back and forth. They would be from a body that's going around that other star.
Positive to say that if the Anunnaki are around, they would definitely be at least level 2 on a charter ship scale minimum. Like, they would have to be, like, if they were able to travel the great distances.
Man, well, look, that's the thing, bro. Look, they don't even necessarily have to be super, super advanced. Look, as far as level of technology, they could be maybe, say, a couple hundred years more advanced than we have right now. Okay. In other words, a couple hundred years from now, could we probably get a craft that leaves Earth and can get to, like, say, Jupiter or Saturn? I would say yes.
Yeah,
that's about the distance you're talking about.
We wouldn't have the technology to be able to have a settlement on either one of those planets, though, because the
I'm just saying, for example, as far as the traveling the distance.
Oh, sure, but like conditions wise, though, like that would require some crazy feats. Which I mean, the pictures that you're showing right now would actually align with like what we would have to end up doing which is go to one of the poles. I mean, if you look at the lad
suppose they still have fairly advanced but still basically understandable propulsion type technology, kind of like what we do. We send rockets up to escape velocity, they escape the gravity well, so forth and so on. We can travel through quote unquote space, so to speak. Okay, if they just have technology at or even slightly above that level, they could do it. They could leave the bodies, come into our solar system, and get to Earth. It's not like light years of traveling or anything you're talking about. It's probably like a couple-year trip or something.
Hey guys, I hate to cut this short, man, but I gotta start driving.
Oh my God, he's off already.
I'm so sorry, dude.
He's so backing off already.
I'm like
what
in
about
Daytona
that?
right now, and I gotta go drive the Clearwater, and that's like a 3-hour trip. So I gotta it's like 3 p.m. right now, so it'd be like 6 something when I get home.
Is this the last time we catch up before the internet goes down?
Ah, chips.
What happened with the internet?
Just World War III. It's happening this week. So look, it's been good to know you guys. And,
who said it's happening? Is it official?
Just me. Just
me.
Just
you.
Just you?
Yeah, just me.
It's just him.
Yeah, I'm just raging war on the world this week. So it's World War III.
Do you know what? I actually just to chip in before you disappear, Knight.
Yeah.
On my feed, I've got like a video that's probably about 3 or 4 years old, but it's like a huge shuttle type object. And I mean, it looks like a shuttle. Obviously, it's not a shuttle, but it actually goes through the back of the sun and comes out about a quarter of the way down. And it does it at high speed, which, when you consider it, is a weird thing that it can do that. Because I've always questioned what the sun might actually be. especially if we kind of entertain the idea that sort of like all this free energy reality that kind of exists in the universe, there's a possibility that I've always thought the sun was like some sort of guarded fortress for our galaxy. And I actually think the Anunnaki are a lot closer than we think.
Well, it looks like if it is in fact an object, if it is in fact a binary star with a 3,680-year orbit, that means there will be a time for probably a couple hundred years. For a couple hundred years, it'd be close enough to our sun where they could go back and forth. They could come into our system, get to Earth, whatever, and go back and forth for a couple hundred years. Now, when you look at history, look at mythology and stuff, notice how you got all these figures like Thor, Zeus, Medusa, Poseidon, the Anunnaki, giants, all this kind of stuff going on. What would happen is, let's suppose for a couple hundred years in history, the Anunnaki are interfacing with humans. They're coming and going. Everybody knows they're around. Look, they're making statues of them. Wow, wow. Now, that's all well and fine. After a couple hundred years, they take off again. So they get lost into mythology. Thousands of years go by before they come back. So they get relegated to just stories and mythology and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, with respect, Nick, you know, when you see all these different kind of examples in sort of folk-related inscriptions on, you know, temples and pyramids and stuff, especially in South America and Egypt, the sort of the crossover of the data that wouldn't be obvious, which would be like, you know, these kind of winged beings carrying bags and stuff like that. It's kind of, there's too much connection, if you know what I mean, rather than it all being sort of like localized folk history and sort of like hokum and mystery.
There are tons and tons of connections. Pyramids are everywhere. The idea of megalithic temples, that's everywhere. Agriculture rises up and associated with them, that's everywhere. Things like the handbags, things like symbolism, like the winged globe and stuff, that's consistent.
Yeah, the ankh.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so consistent. But this is what I'm saying. It's kind of like, when you consider all the things we've ever been told and what we actually believe as a species of human beings, I mean, if you look out there in the sky, you see all the stars. They've all got their own galaxies. Who's to say whatever it is that's out there? I mean, Thinker 13, Quentin put something to me that was interesting, and it was probably about 3 or 4 years ago. But he said, have you ever seen that film Jupiter Ascending? And I was like, no. So I obviously went away and watched it. But it basically was a bit like Dune. It sort of showed a space out there, the universe, all carved up. And there were like power families, almost like dynasties, controlling huge sectors of the galaxy and or of the galaxies throughout the universe. And this is why I say it's like, you know, I think like the Anunnaki is more like a continuum. It just keeps going. And this is why, like, when you see these images of things actually passing through the sun, you know, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't seem ridiculous that it could be something other than what we've actually been told. Because if this was like a guarded galaxy that we actually live in, and there was some sort of struggle for different planets because different races or beings have a grip on the populaces of those planets, much like reptilians or, you know, different groups of people like the Nordics, and it's not an impossibility. I just kind of think, like, when people talk about the Anunnaki being on some sort of like grand journey that takes them right the way through space, it's because they're already here. And that's why I say I think they're more present than we actually give credit for. Because I think there are a lot of... sorry, what?
Do you think that Anunnaki are the royal family? English royal family?
I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I mean, obviously there's a possibility of some sort of descended reality that might mean that, like, the likes that the Roths and the British royal family have some sort of bloodline that may have nothing to do with the Anunnaki, but they're the ones that are ruling the coop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like David Icke spoke numerous times saying that there are 3 races battling for planet Earth. And there's obviously one primary race that kind of like controls the masses here on terra firma. But, you know, I mean, it's all speculative. I mean, you can look at it and go, fuck me, that is actually quite interesting. I'd love to know the truth about that. But, you know, all the stuff about, you know, Putin saying things like, you know, it's like a vampire ball and they feasted on the flesh of humans for like centuries and it's coming to an end now. I mean,
So
it
creepy.
tells you that that's not the sort of thing that humans do. And if they're like hybrids or they are some sort of non-human sort of reality, I mean, who knows? You know? Who actually
the
knows?
Satan element to it all freaks me out, like how they're eating babies and worshipping Satan as well. What the fuck?
Excuse me. Well, you know,
Yeah,
that
that's
thing
wild.
of that thing where we talk about it's cultism. It's like an occultism, so it's like religion. And I think religion does a great job of just kind of giving people something to think about and programming them. And so if there are people who are actually of another type of DNA kind of reality, they could then in turn be filling the minds of their familiars with absolute whatever they want, which is why, I mean, I can remember, I think it was it Pittsburgh where the first actual Church of Satanism was opened about sort of 7 or 8 years ago. Maybe it was, yeah, I think it was Pittsburgh or somewhere. But you know, this sort of thing about how they kind of leach stuff into society, it causes people to kind of, I don't know, develop ideas about stuff, and then you get movements and stuff like that. I mean, that's all part of the straw man reality, isn't it? Controlling people. It's not until you actually go, oh, I'm not religious, I'm not political, I'm just going to step back and watch everything, that you kind of get a real feel for what's going on. But anyway, yeah, I will shut up.
You guys,
I'm doing a whole bunch of settings where when I close the live, it was send you the full live, so you guys get the full live, and you can edit and clip it whatever you like, whatever. So I mean, if I screwed up on that, because it's the first time I'm doing it, if I screw up on something, or just let me know. Like, hey, you blocked me. Like, this fucking stupid shit.
the Kakapo, your mate, the Kakapos are breeding this year. They don't breed every year, but they breed every 2 to 5 years. They wait until the trees have got berries, and the trees have got berries, right? So there's only 263 Kakapo in the world, and they're having a big breeding season this year. So we might get
one of the biggest
Kakapo.
they have had.
Yeah. If you really want to go deep on the Kakapo, there's a great podcast called The Kakapo Files, which just tracks their breeding season from week to week. It's really good. The Kakapo Files. I'll send you a link to it tonight. Yeah, man. It's the coolest bird
That's my
ever.
spirit animal, bro. That's
Yeah,
my spirit
man.
animal. He's like,
Me too. They're fucking cool. And they're
so
super
cool.
fucked. They're super fucked. They don't even breed every year. Fucking Kakapo. Yeah. Love them.
It's like my life.
Yeah, cheers, Knight. Nice talking to you, buddy. I'll have to catch up with you at some point. It's been a while.
Yeah, most definitely, guys. You guys take care, all right?
See you later,
Yeah,
guys.
you have a safe trip.
Thank you, my brother.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, cheers, Shiv. Hey, bud. Catch you soon. Give you a call tomorrow or something.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, later. Bye.